Good morning, everybody. How are you? Oh, wow. Hi, Ben. I feel special now. Gosh, it's like one of those wonderful mornings. I've got a sweet enough tooth anyway. We're all here today to talk about soil biology, yes? And soil health, yes? Great. You're already converts, though, aren't you? To something. Perhaps. What I love about things like this is it's about storytelling. We've just acknowledged the traditional landowners of this country in which we're on, the Ngadjuri people, and they were telling us a lot over the last couple of days when they welcomed us to their land about the importance of cultural burning to them. And it's been part of our conversations, I think, as means to manage and change the landscape. And I think most people are here today to consider means to challenge or to manage their landscapes in slightly different ways. So there's a bit of that theme running, and it's stories, isn't it? It's stories that we tell, it's the stories we hear that inspire us, that drive us or give us the opportunity or the confidence to try and make change. I'm wearing what many of you might consider a marvelous and fantastic shirt today, yes? There'll be some of you who probably hate it. My daughter loathes it when I wear the shirt. Dad, that shirt. No, like, but this shirt has a story. Why? Because it's about changing ideas. It's about changing the way we perceive the world. How can a shirt do that, especially a shirt as fantastic as this? Well, for me, this shirt is marvelous. Why? Because it was free. How do you get a $130 shirt for free? Would be the next question, wouldn't it? And then some of you might think, why would it have cost $130? I don't know. That was the original price tag. Admittedly, it was marked down twice before it came to me. But this was one of a set of shirts. A set of shirts that came from a load of 10 tons of shirts. 10 tons. If your average shirt weighs about 400 to 600 grams, can you imagine how many shirts are in 10 tons? It's an awful lot of shirts, isn't it? And most of them were size 8XL or 9XL. Now this one's only an XL. It kind of fits me. So you can imagine these other shirts, these tents that were there, these in 10 tons of clothing, had a future that basically was someone's made them, someone's bought them, and now they're going to landfill. And no one's ever worn them. And the company that provided me with this fantastic shirt for free had 10 tons of these shirts. Now we diverted them from landfill, we cut them up, we shredded them up, and we put them back onto agricultural land. Why? Because we wanted to change our thinking about the way we think about waste and textile recycling and stuff like that. So there's a story. But it's also another story because some of you should be going, 10 tons of shirts. Why on earth was there 10 tons of shirts being put into waste? And you then probably might think, hopefully that was a one-off, wouldn't you? Yeah. So when you then speak to the charitable company that's then trying to recycle these shirts, and they tell you that this happens almost every year with this one particular group, you think, geez, 30,000 shirts, $130 a shirt retail, and no one's ever going to buy them. Someone's ordered them year on year on year. Now, if you approached your farming with the same attitude, how happy do you think your bank manager would be? How happy would you be? So no matter what you're doing, if you're doing something that's right, if you're doing things that are making a difference, that's where you start. But make that story go further. What have you got to do? You've got to tell it. So I wear this lovely shirt to tell a story about change that we're seeing in the fashion world, pushing people to say, you've got to stop ordering 10 tons of 8XL and 9XL shirts because we're not that big yet. And hopefully we never will be. But we've also got to curve the waste at the other end. But it's about telling the story. So today we're here to hear stories, to listen to stories, and to make change, or to be open to change, or to explore the possibility of change. Yeah? Okay. And what's that going to be around? It's going to be about soil health. It's good, isn't it? What is soil health? Apparently I've been working on soil health for 25 years. I'd like to think I should know what soil health is, but I know this is described as a forum. I'd rather we would quickly made it a workshop. And what I'd love to know is what soil health means to you. So I'd just like to ask you the question soil health is, and get a few of you to tell me what soil health means to you in just a little word or two. Does that sound fair? You up for a bit of that? So what is soil health? Soil health is? Microorganisms. Where'd that come from? Me. Oh, me. Thank you, me. Nice to meet you, me. Hello. The hand went up at the back, very polite. Balance. Ooh, cool. What else we got? Oh, the intersection of physics, chemistry, and biology. It's kind of very similar to what we had I think yesterday we had balancing physics, chemistry, and biology. But yeah, the intersection of the physics, chemistry, and the biology. Lynn, that set it up beautifully for your talk, I think, so that's nice. Okay. What else do we have going on in this world of aggregated structure? We'll play a little game in a minute to highlight how important aggregated structure is. Fantastic. Nutrient cycling, a very polite hand then over here. What would you, sorry? Aeration. Oh, yeah, wonderful stuff. Carbon, the C word. Got to have some carbon in there, don't we? It's what everything's about these days. You farmers, you got to be farming carbon. But I grow pasture to raise sheep or cows, or I do cropping to make cereal to food. You know, it's like, geez, but we've got to farm carbon as well. We already kind of are. But Mark will touch upon that in great detail, hopefully, in his talk. So good, we'll explore carbon. Soil health is fit for purpose. Oh, lovely. And humus. Someone said humus. Oh, back to the carbon front. I'm going to go with a different type of carbon. Humus. Love it. But fit for purpose. That fit for purpose is a good point. A good point. Because I'm going to wrap that up now. Unless anyone's got anything burning they want to desperately throw on that list. Anything that anyone feels that they've got to get out there? Okay. All right, we'll call that quits. Thank you for writing those down. I capture these words and put them in a word cloud because all those things for me are fascinating because that's all the things you want it to be. Physics, chemistry, biology, humus, carbon, aeration. Did anyone say water? Not today, I don't think. That's okay. But structure's part of that. Balance. All of these are measuring things. How do you measure them? And how do you measure them to know your soil's healthy? Fit for purpose. The FAO has now decided that after our 20 or 30 years of squabbling over what soil health is, they said we need a unifying definition, and it's a soil that's fit for purpose in a sustainable manner. Now, we're not even going to explore what the sustainable manner bit means, but what is the purpose of our soils? What do soils do for us? What's their function? How do they perform? What do you want your soils to do? Grow stuff. Yeah, grow food and fiber. That's one of their functions. What's this building on? Soil, yeah. It's acting as a foundation here. How did you get here today? Any of you fly? No, no flyers. Okay, great. So how did you get here? Did you drive by any chance? Yeah, on roads, built on soil, again acting as a structure. We've acknowledged country. How do we know that there were people here before us? Largely because of the archaeological remains or the history that's captured and trapped in our soils. I sometimes think if it wasn't for the fact soil performed that function, we'd have no archaeologists and no paleontologists. And I wonder if that would be a bad thing in the world. But that's okay. It did a beautiful thing last night. What did it do? It rained. Love it. And the soil captures that rain. It filters that rain. In the same way that where do we put most of our waste? Into the soil, where the soil transforms it, filters it, changes it. These are all functions of soil. And they're made possible by the incredible biology in that soil that provides a lot of that functionality. So it also harbors an incredible life that acts to help and support many of those functions. And that's what we want to explore. But thinking about measuring all of those things or all of those possible functions, picking out the minutiae, the individual details or the measures is really difficult. And you're going to hear a lot about that today, I think, no matter how we look at this, about indicators and how often it's more about how we approach our soils rather than specifics. And I've completely lost my train of thought as well. I was going there. Oh, yeah. So you've all come here today, which hopefully means you're all COVID-free. Well, that makes me nervous when someone starts laughing up the back. Keep an eye out that way. And if they start sweating over there or coughing later, move away. Remember that social distancing? I've got some masks if you need them. But you come here, you wake up this morning. How do you know you're healthy? Yeah, it's a good start, isn't it? You woke up and you're breathing. It's another day. Carpe diem. Woohoo! Let's get into it. Yeah. Did any of you think, oh, I wonder how I am today? Oh, I better check the old, yep, oh, there's no lumps, that's good. Any of you gentlemen do that this morning? Maybe some of you do it anyway in the morning. But, did you go and see the doctor first thing and say, I'm of a certain age now, doc. I'm just worried about the prostate. I know I was only here last week, but you want to check it again for me? And the lady's looking at you going, I don't know if I like about that. But did any of you run off and get a cervical smear first thing this morning because you go, oh my God, is it okay today? These things are uncomfortable. They're invasive. And more importantly, they cost us, the government, money. So rather than measure those individual potential things about our health, what do? We assume we're okay, and in the back, we get up and go, and in the background, we're encouraged to have a healthy lifestyle. Exercise, yay! I don't do much of that anymore, you can probably tell. Sleep. I tried to do that last night. My neighbors decided at 4 o'clock this morning I'd had enough sleep. But these are the things, these are the ways we're encouraged. Eating. Have your, 5 parts of fruit and veg a day? How many of us succeed? What considers a portion? Anyway, but we're encouraged to look at our approach to life through healthy activities. And I think some of what you'll hear today is about our approach to soils and soil management is about thinking about those healthy activities. Sound fair? Okay. Conscious of time, but I want to do one more thing. I actually want to ask the question, what is soil? What is soil? When you think of your soil, what do you think of? You think of life. Ben thinks of life. He thinks of the biology and around it. Okay, great. Any of you ever think of just the dirt? Any of you just think soil's just dirt? Oh, there's a nod. There's a shake and a nod. There's a bit of... Oh, it's where it all comes together. And it's interesting, isn't it? When you think about what's soil worth? Millions. But a lot of people go, soil's not worth much. They think land, now land's worth a bit. And you go, same thing. But at the heart of that soil are just the minerals that make it up. That's where it starts, as the rocks break down and they basically crumble and we create our sands and we get the chemical reaction and we get our clays and then we get our sediments and other bits and pieces in the middle. You know, the sand, the silts and clays, the mineral components that make up our soil. They're really fascinating. And that's what the grass roots, if you like, which is a terrible way of actually describing that, Oliver, don't do that again. That's where that soil fraction kind of starts. So I want you to do a little something with me here. You feel a bit energetic this morning? Yeah? Can I get you all to just stand up? And what I'd like you to do is just move into a little bit of space around your tables. Just find a little bit of space. Now, the bigger people in the room, I want you to imagine you're a nice, large sand particle. And the more moderately sized people in the room, you're maybe a piece of sediment. And I know this is not to scale, so don't, you know. And the tiny folks like me, we're clay. Woohoo, we're tiny. You're now individual soil particles. Look around the room. You're all nicely dispersed. You're all on your own, aren't you? Okay, it's going to rain. Hey, it's going to rain. What happens when that rain comes down and hits you? And you're a little tiny soil particle all on your own. Tom's doing a bit of in the back. Oh, you're going to throw it at me? I probably wouldn't catch it because I'm already holding something, but that's good. You can get dispersed. You can get splashed somewhere. And suppose it keeps raining, and that water starts to pond up, and it starts to move across the landscape. What happens to you, especially you smaller clay? Yeah, here we go. Michael's showing us by the physical action of movement. That's what happens. You move away. Suppose, bye, Michael. No one's crying that Nash has left the room. Michael, no one's upset that you went. That's really sad. Suppose it was really dry, and along comes the wind. Never blow into Michael's head. No, off we go. We're off again, aren't we? We're eroding. We're lost in our landscape. So as an individual soil particle, it's a pretty lonely existence that's also incredibly fragile. You know, the rain could wash me away. The wind could lift me up and carry me off to distant lands. There's not anybody going, New Zealand sounds so good this time of year. That could happen. So how do we overcome that first step? What does the soil do? We stick together. We aggregate. Go on. Aggregate. Aggregate for me. No, only with that group up there that we think have got COVID. But as you aggregate, look at this side. They've got some chemical repulsion. There's obviously some hydrophobic activity over here. We aggregate. We come together. And now you come together, two things have happened. You've become bigger, so you're better structured, so you're less likely to be disrupted by rainfall or washed away. You're less likely to be lifted by the wind and carried away. But you've also created an incredible thing between you called pore space. And this aggregation, how has this aggregation happened? And don't say because I told you. How did it occur? Ionic exchange. So there's some chemical bonding will take place. Alcohol. I've never experienced a soil that goes, I just drink, because they gave me another drink, I'll get aggregated. Biological action, yes. Roots, exudates, the biology itself producing polysaccharides and other glues that stick it together. And as they die, they kind of bind stuff together. Fungi, acting like nets and networks, pulling aggregates together, stabilizing them, bringing them together. And as they form this structure and this stability through organic matter and other incredible physical, chemical, and biological properties, we stabilize and structure our soil. We create our aggregates. We create our pore space. Pore space is great for water infiltration. It's great for allowing the landscape to suck up some of that moisture. But it does something else as well, something else that's really important for the biology. Take a deep breath. Hold that breath. Because the most incredible thing you've done in this pore space is create an environment for roots to explore, for fungi to leap across between aggregates, for nematodes to slide across the surface of those aggregates on the hunt for fungi or bacteria or other nematodes to eat and ingest. There's mites maybe in that space. There might be little termites in there too, trying to find bits of detritus. There's biology clinging to the water films, breaking down organic matter, recycling nutrients. And are you still holding your breath? Yeah, because there's something that allows that to happen in this wonderful pore space. What do you think that incredible stuff is? Air. Breathe again, breathe. Enjoy the pore space you created through aggregation because it's helping your biology, it's helping your soils. All right, have a seat. Thank you very much for being incredible soil particles, but also recognizing the importance of collaboration when you aggregated. It's about help. It's about assistance. It's about getting it right. So what we're going to explore today is some of that biology and also how we might think about the way in which we approach our farm management and our land management to encourage it. Now, I'm not a farmer. Working on a farm through my university years taught me one thing. Taught me I was never going to be a farmer because I thought that was like working hard, and then I went to a university and I've realized that there was mistakes made, but that's okay. I'm going to ask Colin to come down as a farmer and tell you about his journey, to share his story with you, to hopefully provide some of that encouragement as we think about the ways in which we might change our approach to landscaping.